Hello, if you suffer from vertigo and you've given up practicing yoga because of it, this video might be for you. So let's get started. Hello, welcome to Yoga for Vertigo Sufferers. So, as we all know, most yoga videos out there or yoga studios, everything moves very swiftly. You have to move into inversions at a very fast pace, and it can cause you to lose your balance if you suffer from vertigo. So what we're going to do here today is a swift practice, but that means it won't take that long. But we will take our time moving from one position to another. And we won't do inversions very fast. So hopefully this will help you get back into a routine where you can practice yoga, but just in a safer way. So the first thing that we're going to do, we're going to start in a standing position. And we're going to do a wide-legged, not necessarily forward fold. We're only going to go down halfway, and we're going to do it slowly. But the first thing we need to do is take our fingers and interlace them behind our back. And you can try to get your palms to meet or square those wrists like this if you feel that this is too much of a bind. So once we have our fingers interlaced, we're going to open up our pectoral area and suck that navel into the spine. And we're going to go forward, hinging at the hips, but we're not going to go all the way down. We're going to stop at flat back. So if this still is too much for you, the best thing to do is to keep your eye focused on something forward as you start the hinging. And then you can move your eyes to where they're staring straight down. Then from the core, we're going to come back up and release the bind. Now, if that's too much for you to have your arms that far back, what you can do is keep your hands on your waist. So we're going to do that forward fold one more time, hinging at the waist, focusing on something out in front of you, and then down to the floor where you can focus. And then from your core, get that engaged and lift up like this. Now, we're not just going to stand in this one position, but we're going to limit how we flow from one position to the next. So you can either do a heel toe to get your feet back together, or you can just move one leg at a time. And we're going to go to the head of our mat. And instead of just going down into a forward fold, what we're going to do is reach up and look at the ceiling. Bring your hands down in prayer position and slowly hinging from your hips, you can go down into a forward fold. And again, focusing on something in front of you, and then shifting that focus slowly so that you don't get dizzy as your eyes are having to look at something different. Now, once you're down in this forward fold, we're not going to hang out here for very long. We're going to put our hands on the mat and step our left toes back into a low lunge. And then once we're in this low lunge, we're going to lift just a little bit to get a little bit of engagement in our abdomen. And then we're going to lower that left knee, place that left foot firmly on the mat, And then we're going to shift it to where it's facing the back of the mat. And with your hands, you can guide yourself and looking forward, guide yourself over to the other side of your mat. Put that right leg out, but foot flat on the mat. And you want to have a lot of pressure on the outside of that foot. And once we're here, we're going to raise our arms up to the sky. So you can do kind of a bow and arrow, starting at your left wrist and up, so that we're kind of doing like a side plank, but not really. We're on that left knee. Then we're going to take that right hand back to the mat, and we're going to go over to the other side, back to our low lunge. Then we're going to lift up on our left toes, have that left heel reaching towards the back of the mat. Place your left hand firmly on the mat, but dig into your fingertips so that way it takes some of the pressure off of your wrist. And with the right arm, we're going to reach up to the sky into a twist. But we're doing it nice and slow. So that way you're not getting a sudden change that might cause dizziness. Good. Now we're going to go to a plank. So step that right foot back. And then we're going to lower to our stomach. Now place your hands close to your rib cage. And we're going to rise up slowly to a baby cobra. And we're going to go back down. Now breathe in as you reach up into the baby cobra. And breathe out as you lower. Very good. Now we're going to go back to a plank slowly so you can lift your upper body first and then your legs. And we want to step our left foot up. So in order to avoid changing suddenly, we're going to place that right knee on the ground. And we're going to slowly step that left foot up. Now we can raise up on our right toes. Then lighten the load on our fingertips by engaging the core. And now we're going to lower that right knee, place that right foot firmly on the mat. And now we're going to do that switch to where the right foot goes out to the other side of the mat. As much of a right angle as you can get it. Then using our hands, we're going to go to the other side of our mat. Place our right hand firmly on the mat. Get that left foot flat and put pressure on the outside of that foot. And once you feel that you've got everything in place, with your left hand at your right wrist, do a bow and arrow as if you're pulling back the bow. And raise your left hand up to the sky. So we're going to lower it and do that one more time. Raising that left hand up to the sky. Now we're going to trace our way back to the other side slowly. Back into that low lunge. You might have to adjust your feet like I've been doing. And get up on your toes of your right foot. Place that right hand firmly on the mat. And raise your left hand to the sky into a twist. Now we're going to lower that left hand. Lower to our right knee. And we're going to go back to where we're on both knees. And we can rise up into a seated position where you're on your knees and seated on your feet. Then slowly we're going to shift to where we're on our backs. So once we're in a seated position, we'll go ahead and lower down slowly. So interlace those fingers, have a steeple grip, point your toes, and as slow as you can go, we're going to lower all the way to our back. So you want to feel as if you can, well, you want to picture each one of your vertebrae as they are coming in contact with the mat. Now to do one safe inversion, we're going to try to do a shoulder stand. So the best way to do this is to shift your tailbone to where it's facing the wall that's in front of you. Lift your knees up to your chest to start. Then we're going to raise them up to the sky. You can point or flex, doesn't really matter. And from your abdomen, you want to lift and put your hands behind your hips. Now your feet might go straight or they might be like this, which is fine. The higher you can get is more of a shoulder stand. But you can also just do it to where you're slightly elevated and keep your feet closer to your head. Then, if you feel like you're not dizzy, you can continue and have your feet go all the way to the floor, and your hands will support you. This is a plow. Then we're going to raise our feet back up and slowly lower. You can use your hands to guide your hips. And slow as we go, we'll get back up to seated. And we'll end this short practice in a cross-legged seat. So I hope you can find that there are ways that you can continue to practice yoga, even if you do suffer from vertigo. So I hope you get some good use from this video, and I'll see you again later. Bye.